Some of you, or maybe most of you, have heard about Harambe's death. Did you hear about Harambe's death? Harambe's killing? Some of you did, some of you did not. For those who did not hear about Harambe's death or killing, you may wonder, what is Harambe? Is it a nation that was killed? Is it a children's school? Is it, what is it that you're talking about? The world was busy last week, particularly the United States, with the death of Harambe. CNN talks about the death of Harambe and says, this is, I'm quoting CNN word by word, a global outrage over the death of Harambe. So who's Harambe? Harambe is a gorilla. A gorilla that was killed in Cincinnati Zoo last week. A 3-year-old child slipped into the enclosure, the gorilla's enclosure, and the gorilla was dragging this child violently to the point that there is a risk of killing. There was a risk of killing that child. So the authorities at Cincinnati Zoo decided to kill the gorilla before it causes real danger for the child, and then hell let loose when Harambe was killed. You don't know, should you cry over this or you laugh over this? The entire nation was busy talking about Harambe. There was a petition signed by over 200,000 people over the internet calling for the prosecution of the child's parent, blaming them for what happened, lamenting the death of this Shaheed Harambe. And talking about Harambe, haram, what happened to Harambe? And animal rights groups have been demonstrating daily before the Cincinnati Zoo, protesting the death, the killing of Harambe. It is so ludicrous that one gorilla is killed in Cincinnati, and there is, according to CNN, a global outrage. But when there are 300 Muslims killed in 1 hour in Baghdad, or in Yemen, or in Syria, nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. It seems that those Muslims are less important than a gorilla, an African gorilla. What they are telling us? Basically, they are telling us, we don't care about you. You're nothing. You Muslims are nothing. You're not even subhumans. We don't even treat you as animals. Animals are more important to us for you. When one gorilla is killed, we lament and we grieve the death of a gorilla more than we grieve the death of 300 innocent people who are killed in a bombing in Baghdad or in Pakistan or in Syria. This is the double standard the West is using. They talk about human rights. What are human rights they are talking about? To them, to the West, a gorilla has more sanctity than human beings. We read in the history that Yazid ibn Muawiyah had a gorilla. And he named the gorilla Abu Qais. This one is Harambe, that one was Abu Qais. And history tells us that Yazid would treat this gorilla with glory. That the day he died, he was racing on a donkey with other people, and he fell down from his donkey and he died instantly, the gorilla. and the Khalifa Yazid grieved his death. I'm not joking. You can go to any historic book and you find history book and you find those details that Yazid mourned the death of Abu Qais, another guerrilla. And he ordered all senior officials in his government to attend a Fatiha memorial service he held for Abu Qais, for the guerrilla. And people came to the royal palace of Yazid offering their condolences. Subhanallah, we see the same thing happening now. When one guerrilla is killed, now the entire nation is grieving the death of a guerrilla. Thousands of people are killed. Now nobody cares about them. Imam Hussein and his companions were killed. Yazid didn't care, but he cared for a guerrilla. Medina and Mecca were attacked by Yazid's army. No one cared, but they cared about a guerrilla. What does this tell you, my dear brothers and sisters? This is a pattern among those arrogant people who believe that they are superior over others, who believe in the supremacy of their own thinking, that we are better than them, and we worth more than them, and our animals their life is more worthwhile than their lives. This is a tragedy, my dear brothers and sisters. The death of Harambe is a tragedy, not because of the death of this guerrilla. It shows how selfish some people are in this country, who compare the life of a gorilla, an animal, to the lives of thousands of people, simply because those people do not belong to their religion, do not belong to their race. They are Muslims, they are Arabs, they are Pakistanis. No one should care about these people. But our gorilla is a great gorilla that we have to mourn and grieve and make a big deal. And there should be a global outrage over his death.